Yeah, I haven't run it yet. I don't know. Yeah.
Go on. Go on.
Okay, let me check. How is it called? Registration version 1. Yep, all works.
Nice works. Brilliant. So on this page, we are just sending the entire arrow. Now on this page, we are going to split it, like create these variables.
Check. But it doesn't run on Safari in mine. It might be my computer again, so I'll just check it quickly on
We should start just.
Who is going to be the Prime Minister, Mr. Hawk? Okay.
Rishi Sunak.
Is it?
For sure.
I mean, wow, you never can be sure. They just had a first ballot, no? How many ballots do they have? Because
I think he had 80 of them.
Yeah, but yesterday they had the first one, so he was.
Yeah.
He has got 88.
88, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I missed that part. Okay.
Yeah, but my point is, they said it's a first one, so how many times do they have it, actually, the voting?
2 or 3 times.
Really? Oh, okay. Well, he definitely has a chance, no?
So far, yes, but I doubt. Trust me. It will be the history in the UK, United Kingdom.
I just wonder, if Boris Johnson is actually going to go. He's so not willing.
He's gone.
Oh well, don't say, you know, because he is.
But I don't think Rishi Sunak will be, because I don't think so it will be easy. It looks like so, but I will be very surprised. I'll be extremely surprised.
Really? So what do you think? Who is going to be?
Well, because I have to kill you if I have to tell you.
Okay. They are pretending you are doing databases, whereas you are actually running the world.
Yeah, it's more diplomatic than we think. This is what people, the policy wants us to think.
True.
But this is not going to happen much for the miracle.
Although, you know what, I remember when Barack Obama got elected, and I remember I was saying to my teacher that I don't believe it. Like, I don't believe they will actually, like, choose black president. And they did. So,
Well, America is different, to be honest. America is the country of immigrant. It's not the base country. That is not a problem. He was ashamed that it took that long for Obama to come. But it has to come. Let's see if the British can do the same as they would think, or still they believe that we are still ruling the entire world. So, it's a big game, trust me, it's a big game. It could happen, British could make it happen to other countries. I'm not sure the British will be willing to give up that so easily.
But he's quite popular, actually. I quite like him as well.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I quite like the woman who nobody ever heard before about her.
Mommy coming. Mommy coming. Cassia coming. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be another accident. But we have a woman prime minister, but a black Asian woman prime minister. Love to see that for even 2 days.
That would be good, no?
Yeah.
That would be very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, yes, I don't believe she will.
Just to prove at least that, there's nothing to be worried about. Nobody's selling fish and chips anymore in the world.
No, I actually think she would be quite good. And, people are saying, oh, she's young and this. Well, Finland has like a youngest government in the world, and so they survive somehow, yeah? Nobody is just crying because they are women and they are young. So, I think would be okay. Would be good experiment in England.
It will be very good. In fact, it will be good. Even the RegisterUser will be good in a way that to break this mold once forever.
Yeah.
And the conservative.
Yeah, of course. Yes, it's like a very class society here. So they should move towards 21st century. But but let's see. I'm happy as long as it's not Boris Johnson. I'm seriously.
He wasn't so bad. Come on.
Oh, come on, he was awful.
He just made the Brexit happen. That was his credit. He was a pro-European, but he got forced into this challenge to execute Brexit.
Come on, he just doesn't see anyone apart from himself, and that's it.
Donald Trump's friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't work on my computer on neither, but let's not worry about this because it is the same story as the other time. It's just
it is
similar.
Okay.
So,
that's great. Let's finish this completely, then probably I can have a quick look as well. So let's go ahead and we're going to split that. As you can see, it's giving me whole array. Now, of course, I do not want this whole array. I want it to split. I want to first go over it, to iterate it using a for each loop. So I'm going to activate this bit. Of course, I'm going to switch off this for now. Here, I'm just going to check again. It's my habit to check whether it's empty or not. If it is not empty, I'm going to run a for each loop. And then what I'm interested in is split and extract them as a value. Now, if you look carefully, each of these they would work as a value in this case, the whole thing. You see, now, of course, I can quickly have a look actually. Let's do this. Let's see what is in there. So it's always a good idea to give a little bit of test what this key is holding and what the value is holding, just to quick before I extract it. So we're gonna just split it and print the keys. That's it. See which one we are targeting. What does it mean by key? I'm pretty much sure it will give me 0, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, can you see? Do you know why?
show again the code, please. Why did you do this 0, 1, 2, 3?
Oh, you'll see this. If I activate the previous error, so you can see the error and then you can see why it's printing the key, okay? Let's do this. That will make sense clearly. Now, you see this is how the array came to us.
Yeah, the errors came in an array, yes, and
They came in two-dimensional array. I have an array which is user data. Within that, each of them are also an array. So, if I may say,
1, 2, 3 is the key, yes, and
that's the key. So basically, for the first array, it has a numeric representation. It will always have numeric representation. For the second array, for each of them, has the associative representation, key value. For each loop, the key will be this. If I think
it shows us keys.
that's key.
1, 2, 3.
But then what would be the value, do you think, if I print the value of it?
Error first name, please enter the first name, yeah?
This will be the value. The entire thing. So the value itself, whereas the key itself a very simple string of 1, 2, 3, as you can see. But the value is a different data type, an array. Does it make sense?
Yes, and the value can be split again into key and value, yeah?
That's correct. That's correct. So I need to run another for each loop if I target the value.
Inside, okay.
If I want to print this link, I have to write this is a two-dimensional array. As that's because if printing key will be easy because that's actually a string. In fact, I can just print. All I'm interested in printing this word 0, 1, 2, nothing else. That's actually a string, which pointing is string container, which pointing to an array, and that's the value. So if I say print our value, you will see slightly different. Let's have a look. But I'm not interested in this key because that's not I'm interested. I'm interested in the value. So let's print that and refresh it. Remember, this is not only teaching you object-oriented, but also teaching you the variations of PHP arrays. As you can see, this is a normal array again. Can you see how it's printing? Let me just do a little bit of break here somewhere. Little break after this, so you can see how it's printing.
Okay, so now it printed the values, yes? So again,
that's correct. So this is normal one on the top.
That's the keys.
And this is
keys and values.
These are the four arrays. This is the value. So each value now is an array. Am I correct? So if I have to print something like this value, I have to split again for each loop. I have to run another for each loop for each of these arrays within that array. Because it's simple, because that's an array. I can't write an echo with array. I have to use either for each loop or printer. That's why I'm using printer, because that stands to be an array. Now, I could have run another printer and do all sorts of things, but I don't have to. All I need this value to be converted automatically to a variable. That's it. And there is a magic function called extract. If you give it this associative array, any associative, this is going to run 4 times anyway. So if you give the extract function an associative array, what it does, it can magically convert this string to a variable. And if it converts this into a variable, each time it goes to a row, what would be how it would look like, how the variable name would be, who can tell, and what would be the value?
So error first name would be the key, and please enter first name would be the value, yes?
Yeah. So if it is a variable, the error first name would be the variable name.
Okay.
And the please enter first name would be the value of that variable automatically. Extract function.
Oh, you're extracting it. Okay, okay, okay.
So if you give extract magical function and an associative array, it can extract them magically and convert this key name as a variable name. This will put a dollar sign before it automatically.
Okay.
It's designed for it. And it puts the value for this. And we are done. If this is run 4 times, each time it will pick up each of these and convert them to variables. So how many variables?
We end up with 4 variables, yes?
4 variables then. And error first name, error last name, error password. It will create and set this variable out of this key name, which gives me a good chance to print them. That's because if you look carefully in my sign up, you know where I'm printing the errors? Look at this area.
Hold on, let's see. Error.
They are not printing right now.
No.
But when I'm converting them to a variable name, remember, then it will print. You see, in between this form, did you not see the error messages comes? They're hitting, right? They didn't born yet. So after the extract, it will be created. But we have already planned for it. So in here, in the code, above the each field, I have written a little bit of PHP if construct. If this error first name was set, then please print the value of it, whatever is cited. So because the extract function will now create them, I will be able to see the value. This has been predefined. We already planned ahead what we're going to call each of the error. And I put a little piece of code above each field. I decided to call each of these error messages as error underscore first name, error underscore last name. Look at that. Second one, error underscore email, error underscore. It's in the sign up. It's in the sign up. We have seen this a million times.
Okay, yes, you've got the variable here. Okay.
They all have. Each of them has a variable. Just you're gonna pin just above the field here. Here, above the field of the form. Okay. So that's what's gonna happen because the extract function will create them. Let's have a look. So I'm going to unleash the beast. I'm just going to relate this. I'm going to use the magical extract function and say, hey, when grab the values, please convert them to an variable. So each time it runs, pick up each of them and we'll create this. Which you do not see because this will be, but it is there. After this line, for each of them, it will grab the array, take the key of the array, add a dollar sign with it, and create a variable name. Sorry, it should be error. I forgot. My apologies. So, just try to understand what extract will do. It will do in the hidden. They exist. You don't see it. That's why it's called magic function. Extract function, as it goes through for each. How many of them we have? We have 4. 3 or 4. Yeah. So 4 times. Each time it will grab one, create a variable with the name used in the key. And that's the value. It will create in the magical. You will not see it. But if you print it, you will print.
Okay.
And we can
So
prove it.
that's automatically, yes? So
That's automatically. Remember the word magical. There are some magic functions.
Okay.
This is a magic function, extract. But you can guarantee that if you give it to a associative error, remember, associative, you can give it to numeric error, it will create that. So basically it will take 0, 1, 2, 3 as a variable. However, PHP doesn't allow 0, 1, 2, 3 digits.
Yeah, I just want to say, you can't do it, can you?
You can't do it. But for associative, you can do it. So as we know, all these variables, there will be 4 of them, don't they? After this, when the for each completes, there will be 4 of them. One will be last name, there will be last name, because 4 arrays, and 4 of them, including register. And remember these variables, we already have planned here. Look at that, just below. If they exist, they come into being, then please print them. The isSet function keep checking it all the time. Earlier, they did not exist. Just after extract, they exist now.
Okay.
So, print. That's why the isSet function, little clause there, you see? A little PHP just above the form saying if this function, this variable was created, and who will create it? The extract function will create it for each of them. Then please do print them. As you can see, this is what we are doing echo. If they exist, basically they now match, because that's how we plan them. They've done how to return. This planning has started from here, from right here. How are we going to call each error? Error underscore the dynamic key name, first name, last name, whatever it is. So this is how we plan from the beginning. So they match with the plan in the front end that we have already embedded. This way, you will have beautifully printed this error. Let's have a look. All I have to do now, get rid of these things I don't want. For you, so you can read it. Let's write a little bit message for you. Extract function can convert each of these key value to a variable. Okay, that's what it does. And here is an example for it. As it goes through, it's going to go through 4 times, pick each of them at a time. The value is currently pointing to first name, it will create error first name. Because that's the key name anyway. So if this is happened after extract, all 4 will be available to me. Let's have a look. If I now refresh my page and just submit the function without any data, I should see this error just above the field. Can you see them? Except the email, because we did not include it. And those are coming from the extract function has created them on the top, just here. And we are printing here because this condition is now true. If error, first name, last name, all of them, just print them. This is the echo function, shortcut echo function. You've been using it quite a lot. So just print them. So this way we can automate the process. Now I'm going to go and do for the other field, okay? So let's do for the other field. So I'm going to clean it up a little bit. This one I don't need anymore. Just clean it up. Do you want me to keep the comments or shall I remove the comments?
No, comments are useful.
Okay, useful. Okay, I'll keep it this. Okay, so that's my end of the processing of it. Now I'm going to go to register quickly. I'm going to quickly add something for my email. My email field is the tricky one. It takes 3 different types of
Validation.
validation. Okay, it takes longer than you expect. So let's do this. So let's keep this. This is still my for each loop. Okay, I didn't make more space here. As I said, this will check emptiness for all fields except email. Now we are doing here. We're gonna do email validation. Okay, let's call it. This is where we're gonna pick an event. We need an if statement quickly. So the if statement will be the similar, but the thing. So if still we are in a for each loop. If the key equals to email. That's it. Then we want to do following. So we're gonna just say. Now we're gonna check. First, we're gonna check for this. Also have to do the same thing. I'm just gonna quickly do empty check first. If true, just gonna quickly write true. I'm just gonna create this template for me, and I'm gonna say else if true. I'm just creating the template. Don't worry, I'll be there. And I will have one more else if true, because I have 3 checks for it. And then I will have else. That's the templates I'm going to use. Okay, so that's my else if else. Okay, let's put them nicely. This way, if this makes sense, much better way. Basically, actually, this will be actually the part of this guy. Basically.
Okay.
So this is what we're gonna check 3 things. First, emptiness. Okay, and we know we're gonna check the emptiness first. Empty. We're gonna check whether the value is empty, just like we did for other value. If it is empty, what we want to push. We have to do it separately for email. Push. Then of course, where we are pushing, we're pushing to error. Errors functions. We do the same thing and build the array. Here I will have error underscore with the variable and the message that I want to write. Please enter the key, which is enter email basically. So that's one push I've done.
So this one is the same as for the rest of them, yeah? The first condition.
That's first condition, yeah. We already have done that on the top.
Yeah, this is the same one, yeah?
This is the same one, basically. What we are doing, let me see, I have done mistake somewhere. Array, please, how many brackets do I have? 2. I have a mistake here. Mistake. Now that's okay. That's one gone. Second truth I want to, which is filter bar function we're going to use to check whether the validity of the email is perfect. So to do this, I'm going to use the popular filter bar. Now filter bar is a built-in function which can filter different things for us. Filter bar is a function which returns true if it is invalid. Okay. Sorry, it returns true if it is valid. It returns true if the email address we are checking is valid. It returns false
if it's not valid.
It's not valid. So we are looking for not valid. That's why because we are checking all negative. So I need to put exclamation sign to it. And this function takes 2 parameters. One, the value, which is the email itself, and one a constant, built-in constant. It's called filter validate. I should get it. summary. See, these are all constant you can use.
Okay.
You can use for IP, address checking, integer, MAC address, URL, Boolean, float, domain name. So many things you can check with this function. So we are interested in it. It's a life-saving function. So this function returns true if the value email is valid. It returns false if it's not valid. So I just have to put exclamation to make it false. So it is not, reverse the effect. Because we are capturing the negativeness of it. If that is the case, of course I'm going to just do the same. Push and another one. Please enter valid. I'm just going to add the word valid. Yeah. Okay. The third one is, which is to check whether
it exists.
It exists. Of course, that case I need the help of a function which I already have created for our previous in the data model. So let's fire it up a little bit. Data model should have a function. It has a lot of function. I already kept it. Check email exists. Check. Can you see this function? Very basic function.
Okay.
I'm going to reuse it. It's going to check. It's going to get the email. Check this is exist. If it is exist, it's going to return true, else return false. Right? This function just like this. If the email exists, it's going to return true. The job of this function will check if the email exists. It will say yes. And if it is the case, of course we're going to give an error. Sorry, enter another email. This email exists, right? So that's what we're going to do. So they all connected. I can use that function. All I have to do is do like this. Check. Call this function. Check. Actually, let me copy this. Let me copy this name of the function. This is quite long. I'm just going to carefully copy this. This is already in there. And it's written true. So here I need to give it's a value. The value will be our value.
Value, okay.
So if this is the case, of course I want to push another message here. Slightly different than each other, each of these messages, because it returns true, because it exists. Then what would you say? You would say please
go to the sign in, or please log in, or email already.
Yeah, or we can say, maybe we can say, sorry, this key already exists, right? Key means the email.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask if in the array push, hold on, no, where I'm looking, check email already exists, value. I could use also email instead of value, yes? Or not?
No, you don't have any email here. Because remember, all this for each loop that is doing here is splitting between
the variable like email.
Basic email, yes. Because we are collecting data and putting the value, so you use the value. But if you want to check with the email, proper email, let's say you're doing it manually, then why not? Gmail.
No, what I wanted to say, can you write in the code the word email instead of value?
No.
Not?
No. Why would you write email?
Because we check in email, so if
then you didn't understand.
Are you checking the value? Okay, yeah, I get it.
Then this for each loop you need to understand again, go back again.
No, it's alright.
Yeah? So this is key and value. We're splitting it already. This is all within the for each loop, end of for each loop. We now have a nice key and the key variable value in the value, because the value is holding whatever customer typing, that would be our image. It's always going to be value on this page. Okay, they see this is value, this is value, this is all value. Value is carrying this. And of course, if this is the case, we want to definitely push another message, right? And saying that, hey man, this is already exists. Else, if none of this happens, what would you like to do?
Register it.
Exactly. Push it. Which variable? Remember the good one. There is no error. What would you push it?
Registration?
Nope. No. We have two variables, guys.
User data.
This is we are pushing into error.
User data.
User data. Come on, you will help me, please. So this and user data. That's the variable ready to send to database. So for email, I had to do it separately, okay? And then I do array, and of course, remember I have to push it, so I have to do a very simple thing. Key, I have to make it like this. Remember, I want to also do filtered user input. Let's copy this line because I want, of course, I want to make sure that this has been filtered properly. So in that push, I'll push. Did I put anything wrong? One more bracket. Yeah. Anything else? Did I do mistake? Let me see. Key filter user input. There are 3 of them should be, of course. Yeah. So this is all bad. All the bad thing happened. We are pushing messages for email. When none of this happened, because they did enter a valid email and the email doesn't exist. It's a new user. That case, whatever they enter, we want to push it into user data. And for the rest of the field, we have done this there. So we now have all 4 data we need. First name, last name, if they filled it. Okay? So basically, I just repeated it. So if you have a separate types of validations, feel free to separate them. It's absolutely fine. Because I have an if statement, I will always check. Remember, we are still going in a for each loop for each of the items. We are still in that big for each loop. There you go. So I'm going to just put something called end of email. If you have a password field, complexity check, length check, why not you can do that separately. I'm just grouping them. End of email validation. So we have 3 different validations, and this is what the JavaScript framework, this jQuery validators, PHP validators, they create function like this. Try to make it the common features. Just with a little slight change, you can easily adopt them. In this case, we call email. Maybe somebody built a website, they decided to call the first name user email. So that's the lightest things you have to change. The concept is similar. They're like we're just creating an interface that can be used. Now that I have that, I have one more thing. I have very important thing left, which is go back to my process data, because this is all good. Now let's try this. This time I'm gonna hit the button without filling anything. See if I get any error. Last time we didn't have the email check. Let's have a look. If I do that, hopefully I will get the email as well. Are we? Are we getting it?
Yeah.
Of course. So, I'm just gonna quickly drop this for you. If you want to just adopt it, whenever you adopt it, I'll have this anyway. But if you want to try, of course, just in case. This done. This is your validation check done. Now we need to push them into data. What happens if everything is fine? If there is an error, you're printing. This part is doing it. But if there is no error, of course, we want to do multiple things. We want to do other things, such as send them to database. Okay, so this is what we need to do. Okay, if error, return the error. I'm just going to put some comment for you guys. Okay? If error has a value, return it back to the caller. Okay. Second method, I'll do the same thing. I'll double check empty is not. If no error, I have no worry about this. No error, because we take care of that already. If user data array has values, then send it to database. Okay? That's what we are doing. So that's one thing. So the first thing, I'm just going to repeat the same process. This check will save my life. If empty If not empty, what not empty? This data, user data. User data. If it is not empty, of course, and then I'm going to do certain thing. I have a function. I have a very nice function already in the data model. It's called RegisterUser. Okay, guys, let's have a look at that one. Let's find that one. I'm going to use that. Register. You see this function? I'm going to use this. Wow. This function is cool. This is earlier adaptation of my this. I need to change it slightly. So that's what I'm going to show you. But I need to call this one. As you can see, this is already written, so I don't have to write it again, do I?
No, of course not.
This is a separate application. This is an object-oriented system we are doing. We're not doing the PC globe. PC globe, I send 4 variables. This case, I'm not going to send 4 variables, guys. I'm going to say only one variable, the array that I have created. Okay? Just one variable. And I'm going to use the technique of extract to do the same. So I need to find that. I need to find a way to send it. Okay? Just give me 1 second. When I do write, I have this bar in front of my eyes. You know, the sharing screen. It always moves. So look at it carefully. How many variables they're taking? 4, right? 4. But if I carefully look, I have only one variable, and which is an array. So I cannot send 4 variables to it because I only have one. So the way you could do, you could write a for each loop and send each of the key. Okay? But then again, it's too many for each loop. Maybe I could do. Rather, I would update this data model function slightly and using the extract. So my objective is to make sure that, you know, maybe I could do, rather than calling that function 4 times in a for each loop, I'm going to just send this the way it is. So let's do this. I could have run a for each loop and call that register function 4 times. That would be a bad idea because register has to happen all together. It's together, all paid. So I have a function which takes parameters. So I'm going to remove it and I'm going to give it an array, user data, because that's an array I'm going to send. Okay, this is the array I'm going to send. And when it comes to me here, I'm just preparing it so I know what will happen. I'm not sending any more for this variable. I'm sending a one single array. So in here also, I will do the same technique that I applied. So I'm going to grab it, run a for each loop. That's all I have to change. Because that's not now, I need 4 variables out of that array. So I say user data as key
value
and value. Same thing I'm doing. I'm sending them as always from the classes. I'm just sending them as a array. Value. Now I need extract function. Simple. Extract. Extract. Spell it right? Yeah. Value. Because I already have produced my variable to have name like this.
Extract values or value?
Value, my value. So I already, if you extract this user data, you get 4 variables and their values, Sam, Simon Smith, whatever, just like this variable. Look at that, this matching variable. After this line, this will be created because my user data, if you look my user data carefully, variables, the way I pushed it, key, value. And for email, the key will be email. Value will be sam@gmail.com. So extract, you know already what extracted. I'm not going to explain it again. Is going to take each value associated, create these 4 variables with the value in it, whatever customer type. That's it. The job is done. And that's a little change I have to make. and then I go back here, now call that function. So I'm just going to carefully copy this guy, and this function, what it does, it takes this, you know already, is insert all these with the prepared statement to the database. And if database says one row affected, managed to insert one, database always reply back saying that one row affected, two row affected. MySQL I affected row is a built-in function which can read that signal, and that function returns more than 0. That means at least one row has been inserted. So that's all we are checking to confirm completely from all the way back from the database. Because when you insert something in PHP, update something, it's always reply you back, give you feedback saying that one row affected, two row affected, 0 row affected. If there is none, to change. And we have a built-in function to grab that information from the bottom part of the database to 100% confirm that it's inserted. If that is the case, I'm returning true. This function will say yes, it's all good. Else, return false. It's a function that does things, returns booleans. So I'm calling it here. Let's call it here. Okay. And the function that I'm calling it here is just here. Because this function is a boolean, because this function can return true and false, based on that, I can prepare some nice message like success message, failure message. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this into a test. Register user. I'm calling that function, passing this whole variable to it. That's an array. I'm sending it. That array then gets copied to my functions. So if this is true, so when I call within an if statement, because I have designed a Boolean function, a function that returns true or false, it of course does something, but at the end, if it is successfully do whatever it's meant to be doing, it will design to return true or false. So I can evaluate it within an if statement, not just calling it, but I can evaluate it also. If statement it returns true, if all goes well, if the function returns true, the following line will execute. So what is the following line? I want to print a simple status message to my users to say, hey, everything is good. I'm going to just put this token into it. If it is some reason fail, could be the reason that due to some database issue. Status equals to, I'm just going to say error db. That's what I am predicting. This is a token I'm going to send. So yeah, if it is successful, it's gonna put something in the status. If it is failure, it's gonna put something else. Now that after this call of this function, my status will never be empty. Either it will have success word or it will have error digit. Am I correct?
Yes.
So all I have to do now, redirect my user to profile page. So that one more check needed. Check if the if not empty the status, then status always there's a check. Then do me a favor, use the header function to location sign in. S-I-T-N, sign in dot PHP. I'm going to attach a query string called status. Status would be the variable status, whatever it's holding. Status. Okay, that's it. I am returning.
So you always returning. It doesn't matter if it's status success or status error. Yes.
Yeah, always. If there is something. I want to print that to my user. And I also want to take them to the sign-in page and saying, hey, good to go. Because I have some tokens.
Yeah, but if the status was error, it
will still send. It will still send. Yes.
Okay.
Yesterday error means what? It didn't register.
Yeah. So why do you send the user to sign in?
I need to inform them. I decided to inform them. Something went wrong. Try again later. Otherwise, they will be wondering.
Yes, I understand that. But what I'm saying, let's say the situation is something is going wrong, and you still send them to the sign-in page.
Yeah, you know? You can sign in whatever you like. You could. Because I'm just doing one single thing, saying, hey, please, there is something wrong. Because you see, so many other things could go wrong.
Sorry, but I don't understand, because I think like if there is an error, you should send them back to the sign up, not sign in.
Yeah, you can keep it that moment. You can do that too. It's not a problem. Whatever file you can. The reason that I do that, because you have other things. You have email could go wrong. Database, internet could go wrong. These are quite not going to happen that much. The way we configured is very rare that it will happen. So highly likely 99% if everything goes all ready and check everything, you will definitely going to insert, because that's probably the thing. But however, the network issue may occur during the process of returns from the and we don't know. Rather, that case is better always focus on one page login, because all I have to do is print the error. The chance is very narrow in this case. So I am going to presumably give the what is called benefit of doubt to success.
Okay.
99%. That's why I'm just gonna return there and see if something unexpected happens. The return of the call, network broke down. This. Still, they will have clue what's going on, and that would happen at least one person, even less than that. So you don't. But so I'm hoping that this is not gonna happen, right? And benefit of doubt goes for this guy.
Okay, I get it.
But if you want, of course, you can do another thing. Look at that. If you want 2 different pages, like this, just check this. You see? If you want to model that, you can do this as well. Just change it to sign up.
Okay, but I understand why you do it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay, yeah.
But this is a good question. Of course, if you would like to model it. But as I said, I'm very narrow. I narrowed it down because of this technique.
So basically, the chance is not really there. Yeah. Okay.
That's what all we check. We check multiple occasions, emptiness, this, that. So the chance is very narrow. So if this is happen, it could happen for anything. I could even trigger other things like no internet error. I could model that in this case. I'm just keeping it very simple.
Okay. Thank you.
So I'm gonna presume that it's gonna go well and give him a success message. So he's gonna take it to sign-in page. So let's go to sign-in page and see where it's printing. Okay. So let's go to sign-in. We don't have to do much changes. I have this somewhere in the top. Look at that. Here is going to print. That's because I'm attaching something very popular called query string. A query string is some piece of information that you can pass from one page to another page via URL. So the variable you write is followed by a question mark and a variable name, you choose whatever you call it, and the information that you want to say. And the information is already packed into this variable, so fine. You can even call it message if you want, MSG, not a problem. I call it status for now. And the variable name also status, but it's holding a token from it. It is some sort of token. So when my client goes here, it's gonna check whether. Who can tell me why this is get?
Because
why not false?
Because
what we check?
Not public or global?
No. when everything's successful, which page we are going? It's a different page. It's a different page. And what we are putting on the URL, remember guys, query string. Look at that. The extra bit you see. Where do you see that? When I go to that page. Where do you see a file name? File name. Where do you see a file name in the browser? Or path of the website.
Oh, in the
URL address. That's correct. So you'll have this information also in the URL. Am I correct?
Yes.
And when you have information on the URL, we use get to collect it. Get super global, not post.
Okay.
We have discussed this get and post a million times. So get, you'll see. If everything's successful, it will have the status written here equals to success. That's why it is written. And using get, we can check that. Get can inspect in your URL and say, hey, do I have a variable named follow status in the URL? And if it was found, it's going to collect it. This is how it collects it. And all I have left to check what is the status message containing. If it is containing success, and if there is no issue with error login, I have another variable that's checking for error like there is no issue with that, it is empty. Then I'm gonna say, hey, successful. Else, if it is error driven, say something goes wrong. I'm just printing based on the token that I send. That's pretty much it. So let's do and run it. Hopefully, if we have done messy mistakes, I hope I haven't. I should be able to see this. So I'm gonna check everything. I'm going to first check whether it's showing an error. Okay. So it did. Let me check my database. Do I have any data here? I do not have any data yet. So that's okay. So let's put some data. Sam Smith. Of course, I'm going to keep Sam Smith and put 1, 2, 3, but I'm going to keep this empty. Check. It can identify my email missing. And it did. Did it keep my other values? It did. Yeah, it did. So accept the email. So let's put some email. But when I'm putting some email, I'm going to make a mistake. As you can see, this is not a valid email. Checking whether validity of the email. So we click there. Oh, my HTML file is up. So let's put a G here. But still it's not a valid email. Let's fire this out. Did it work? Yes. It did work. So we'll have to double check whether it's sent to the database or not. It didn't yet. So we need to fix it. So I'm going to fix it. And I'm going to hopefully, finger crossed, we have an error. I need to check what its error is. Okay. I need to double check where did I do this error, just to make sure that I don't have the error. Double checking it. I need to do some coding. Let me check. I have a process data here. Which returns error, double check. User data, if it is not empty, calling a register user, hopefully that comes to this. Let me double check this guy because this guy could be an issue. User data, values, expect values, and I should have all of them. First name, last name, email, password. Password need to be converted. Anything else I'm missing here? Don't see anything else. Same tables. Are they connected together properly? Double checking if I haven't broken anything. Yeah, that's fine. some reason it didn't go. Let me check why that is. Have I broken some rules? Let me double check. Register user, I call that function. If it is successful, that should return this, else this. If not empty, status not empty, I should send you. So something has gone wrong on this function, which returns. It probably broke down something. Let me have a look. Why it is. I'm gonna share this. I don't see much, so if anyone running, could you just try on your computer while I see why it is. So just if you check it for me. Sign up, registration class, that's true. I didn't know, and the data model. And the date. Last 3 files, guys, in the chat. See if it is working for you. Let me double check while you do this. If I'm missing some piece of information here. Let me do the data. Maybe I have not loaded all files. No, I have loaded all files. Extract value, process data to be called, which will return errors if there is. It's not going to return error. No, I'm just going to quickly check that my process data function, what's gone wrong with that guy. Whether data may be mistakenly mixed up. I'm just going to print it before I do any of this. Absolutely make sure that. For now, I'm just going to. You go and try this while I try this a little bit. Not refreshing. Just reboot my system to check whether. Of course, I should be able to send it. Let's see. I need to just reboot. Guys, check this out. We have this issue. It's meant to print something. Okay, let me see. Oh, okay. So this is been extracting, but I'm not printing it, of course. Let's see. Print or extracting it here. Error. Let's see. Why these things is not printing? Did I produce the other side of data properly? Okay, this is not gonna print that. That's okay. Switched it off. Now since this, if it is not empty user data, okay, let's do this. So that's okay. Sam Smith email password. The all has been to have on. Now I'm just gonna delete it with other check. So it is building those. Something to do with my user register user function coordination. That's okay. Values are empty. Okay, if I do push data, 1, 2, 3. I'm just checking why these are not this. Error register, of course, it's another error. That could be a problem. That could be a problem. Because it is not empty, because there is a one thing that I have which is called the buttons, is producing the error, and it's after returning it's expiring. So that's why this function is not working at all. I see. Okay, I'll get back to it later on, but I want to try this first. Okay, I know what is going on. Maybe that's the reason why I did the key. It's not empty. The value is not empty. Wasn't not the reason why I did that. I see. Let's see why I did that. Key earlier, I see this is the reason why I used the emptiness of the key. Empty, the key, this is what exactly I did. Wait, now let's see. I want to see. So let's see which one does this fire. I think we got into why it is. So if the error, of course there's an error. If the error, go ahead and give me the error. So how many errors do I see? Error register. Enter register. Register. I need to remove this guy. Enter register. Okay. Now let's go back here and just try to activate these guys. Time. I see where I did the key. I remember now. Okay, I'm doing. Anyone trying it? Not working. That's because of a reason. The one key, the button, is causing the problem. Huh. Yeah, you have registered successfully. So that now check whether it's so. Yeah, this is done. Can you see these error messages here, guys? The success onto the top.
Yes.
You see, the reason that it wasn't going was very simple issue. That's because I'll tell you why. You see, earlier I used to check for emptiness of a key. and I removed it lately. The reason, and I remember the good reason that I did that extra check is because remember we have, how many fields we have guys here total in the sign up?
4.
Let me check. Actually 5.
Do we?
Yep.
Register
Register button.
5, yeah.
That's it. So we are dealing with all of them except the register button, because register button is when you click on this particular form, it gives once, it gives a signal set or true, but we are not considering that as an error. We are not considering, but the code does consider this an error. So what is happening? If I fill up all this field except that this button is not filled, and then this part of the code is happening. So if I switch off those, please, let me show you this. Just understand that. Let's say for some reason this button's information gone somewhere. We don't care about it. We are just collecting the errors for 4 fields. We are also collecting the value for the 4 fields. But we keep, obviously, we also have another things to consider, which is the button. Now this button is a bit tricky when it comes to PHP. This button could have empty all the time, even if you have 1. That is for the browser to recognize. Now, what I'm doing here I'm just saying, hey, go for each error and values and return this, right? An error. So how many errors should I have if everything empty? Technically,
5.
I'll have a 5 error. Even though you're thinking, okay, submitting the key would probably set 1 to it, but unfortunately it doesn't. It only sends the information to the browser so you can execute in the current page. But in the post page, it remains 0. It remains nothingness. But there is error. So I am sending 5 errors through this error check. Unless they are all clean. So what I'm doing, I'm sending 5 of them. But 4 of them I'm handling. The button click is not handling. It's only get handled by the hit. So because I'm returning it, whether I'm returning is 4 classes or 4 errors or 5 errors, what happens after return, guys? To a script, tell me. When you write a return keyword, what happens after this to a code? Nothing gets executed underneath of it. Remember, return is the last keyword. So if this condition is true, if this is, we are gonna go through it, and there are 5 errors, and I'm sending 4 of them. So I'm only visually looking at 4 errors. Do I not? I'm forgetting about this in the visual point of view. So I did not control that. And that case, I see 4 errors. But why this did not work? Yes, it prints. So I filled it up. So I fill up those 4 errors, but I forgot to fill up the buttons. So this will happen if I have any errors at all. And it is always happening even though I fill up the 4 fields. That's because additional otherwise it was always happening. Sometimes it was happening with 5 all errors. When I fill up the Sam Smith blah blah blah, it was happening for 1 error, which is the register key. That was the problem. So if this happens after returns, whether it's returning 1 error or a button key or 4 errors, this function will never work, because after return everything returns. So to bypass this, we use a technique to check only the keys that are not empty, because whether I click the button or not, my register button key will be always empty. In this case, if I do this check while I'm going through this for each loop, it's going to find 4 of my keys not empty, but 1, that button is empty. So it's not going to send that one. It's only going to send 4 of them. That's why this key check is important. If it is not the key, we're not checking all of them, because that key will be always empty. So we can bypass that. So it's going to send only 4 errors except the button, because the button key is empty. If it is not empty, just send it. Just send it. But button key is always empty. even if you see 0 and 1, that's a bit tricky one. That's the reason I put this now. Now, 4 returns, so if there are 4 errors and I fill that up, if I fill them up, then of course, there is no errors at all, and there is nothing to return. There may be errors, only 1 error, but they're not going to print this. This line will never work. That's because this check is failing it. So that button is empty anyway. That key is empty. So it's not going to work. So this line will not work. And the continuation of this will continue, which will send my data to database. Okay. So let me double check with this one. But what I was also saying that the status button is something that causing the information passes to you. So let's have a look quickly. I already have registered someone called Sam Smith, but I need to check one more to see if I can register the Sam again with the same email, which I haven't checked. So let me quickly do that. 1, 2, 3, and see if that is, because the only one I haven't checked yet. That's the reason why I double checked already about that one. Yeah, sorry, this email already exists, so I cannot use it. So I have to change it to Sam2 maybe for fun. Let's see if this is the case. And of course, it's gonna add something in my status. It says success token. Okay. And then on the login page, I'm saying you have registered successfully because that's the token I investigated in my sign-in page here. So you see, grab the status from the URL using get superb global, which good at reading it. Store them in a local variable. Check what value it consists of. If it is success, of course, I want to make a nice this information on the top of the form. Else, if it is something else error, I want to say, hey man, there is a problem signing. So some way which will never happen anyway, that much, maybe in the email. So that will insert the, let's double check whether the newly data SAM2 email has been entered. Yeah, this one. This has been entered. Okay. So you need to have that key. You cannot avoid it because that key will check the emptiness of them. Because that's even though it's empty, the problem was it was sending all of it. We don't want that. So this is the update of it. I'm just gonna send you guys this. Do have a look, see if it is working for you. Okay. So what file I have to give you? I have to give you. I remember that's why I have. There is another way you can avoid that, but this is the easiest way to do this. Just one line of code will solve that problem. It will never send any buttons. So register.php. Let me just do one thing. Let me just put big line in my chat. So this is where all the files are. Just the register class and the sign up. Plus I will upload this in a minute. Sign up class. For those who are trying now, that's why. And data model. Try this out in your computer. 3 of them I send. While I upload this for you guys, those who are not being able to practice. Okay. In the I'm just gonna quickly upload that to the Opeldo. So I send you 3 files. Just put them there because I haven't changed anything on sign up. See if it works on your database. We're gonna come back after break, lunch break, but I will upload this there. So those who unfortunately couldn't do it for some reason, they can download it and practice from there. You must download it because I have a test for you. I'm not gonna sit down and do this talking. I really want you to do the login when you come back. I want you to create the class login. All of you. Is that okay? So I have done the registration for you. Please go ahead when you come back. Work. You can work as a team, I'm sure. Just help me with, I'm not gonna do any. You just gonna create the login class for me. Exactly following the same technique with the same values. I'm pretty much sure you would be able to do that, but otherwise I will have. Okay, at least one practice I want to see that is happening because if you obviously you may not have time at doing homework in it's busy life. So we do this here. Okay. So I know that some understanding is worth. Even Even if you fail it, don't worry, don't be shy. Lina, do that. Paula, do that with me if you are free. When we come back, okay? Let me just quickly upload that. It'll be good. It'll be good. Your job is to create the login page following the registration page. So let me quickly upload this complete registration this way. Let's quickly upload this. Where I was. It won't take that long. Let's go ahead and do this. So where I was on PHP. Oops, PHP. This will be complete. No, it's not a complete version. Because it's not a complete version, it will be completed when we have registered and login. So I'm just gonna send it registration class. Okay, just send it. Update this a little bit. Let me just update this quickly for you guys. So I'm gonna remove the homework. Homework will be to create a login class kind of. Not homework, I mean we'll do it here. As you can see, you need a little bit of practice on that. Otherwise,
a little bit or a little bit more.
a little bit more maybe. It's up to you guys. You need to manage time while in the class. I mean, obviously, in spite of the lot of time tasks you guys have to do, which is mandatory. That's important. But find the time. Find the time. This is uploaded, guys. Login, registration. Oops, this is the registration class completed. I just updated that. You do download. Please, when you come back, I really want you guys all to, if you have time, of course, if you have no serious issues that disturbing, and then try. I know it's harder when you study from home because you observe things, you get disturbed, you need to be there. It's not as easy when you're in school. Agree, right? When you're in school, you blocked out things. A lot of people don't call you, friends don't call you, family don't bother you, saying, hey, you need to do this because you're at home. So it's different. I understand that. But I would appreciate if you do download this, and when we come back, just try to do login class for me. Okay?